Hi guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome to this video. All of the highlights from the Beaulieu Supercar Weekend, including all 3 demonstration runs and our Supercar Sound Off. As you can see, we have got 7 cars here with us. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we've got 7 cars here with us. We've got a real range of engines as well. We've got, I believe that is a flat 6, although it could be a flat 4. I'll check which one it is. We've got a 5 litre Coates V8. We've got a straight 6. We've got a flat 4, a V8. A V10 and also a V8 as well. So the way this works is very simple, ladies and gents. First we're going to find out if we've got our decibelometer. Where's our decibelometer? Have we got our decibelometer? Here he is. Come on, come join me. This is your 15 minutes of fame. So what we're going to do is we're going to, what's your name? I can't see your name. Where is it? Nate. Right, so we're going to use Nate as my willing victim, volunteer, my willing volunteer, and you are going to find out how loud these cars are. Have you done this before?
No.
No, good. You know this beard?
I tend to keep it when this is finished.
It won't be that shape. In fact, it'll probably be singed off by the time we finish doing this. So I hope you're okay with that. So what we're going to do, we'll take 4 or 5 steps back beyond each car, and then we're going to find out just how loud they are to begin with. Should we do that, ladies and gents? Right, come on then, let's start down here. We're going to start with our Porsche. So, if you want to position yourself behind there. Now then, is this the flat 6 or the flat 4?
Flat 6.
Flat 6. What size engine? Oh, okay. So you've done a few mods on there, I see. Right, okay. So then, when you're ready, we're going to find out just how loud your car is. You ready? 3, 2, 1. Take it away. Lovely stuff. Right then, Nate. How loud was that?
124.4.
That was 124.4. Put your hands together for me, ladies and gents. Now then. Well, this is sounding a bit beefy, isn't it? I'm guessing this ain't a standard 5 litre Coates V8.
Not really.
No?
Not really, no.
Has it got an exhaust or just? Sort of. Scaffolding that you nicked off the side?
Right.
Yeah, right, okay then. Right, in your own time, take it away. Oh, that sounded good. Ladies and gents, put your hands together for me.
116.9.
It was, bear in mind he was 124. You, 116. Yep, 116. Argue with the technology. Right then, is there anybody here who doesn't like the Supra? Anyone? One, but who whistled? Come on, how can you not love the Supra? Right then. Hello you, how are you? Where's the GTR? You've sold the full carbon GTR, now you're in this. Good choice. Tell very quickly how much power we're running. 850 horsepower, and they're like, right. You ready, ladies and gents? Take it away. Okay. Ladies and gents, put your hands together. Bad things are happening in my mind now. Right, ready? 1, 2, 4. It was 124. Absolutely bang on. 124. I believe our first one was it 124.9. Our first one. Yeah, about that. Right. Here we go then. So you've only got 4 cylinders, but we've already heard how loud this thing is on the on our demonstration run. You ready to take it away? Here we go then. Put your hands together for me for that one.
120.
Right. So currently we're looking to beat 124. You 1, 2, 0. Didn't quite make it. I thought he would with all those pops and bangs. Right then, what's Megatron doing in here? Who's let you in then, huh? I think we should have a Megatron Bumblebee rev off, I do. Right then, 777 horsepower, if I'm right?
Ish. Yeah, that's right.
Ish. I love it. Right then, ready? Take. Ladies and gents, put your hands together for me. That was amazing. Right, so the current record is 124. You 122. Oh, didn't quite make it. Now then, hello my dear. Hello. This makes a lovely change. Are you going to give it some noise for us? Right then. 10 cylinders in the V formation, take it away. Sounding glorious. Ladies and gents, put your hands together for us for the V10 Lamborghini. 20. So you were trying to beat 124, 120, 120. It's not beat the 124. Right then. Come on, Ferrari, you can do this. Any mods?
None whatsoever.
Right, so completely stock standard. Let's hear a V8 Ferrari sing. Beautiful. So revs so quickly that. So, it was 124 to beat. You got 118. Didn't quite make it, but completely standard. Ladies and gents, put your hands together for me for all of our cars so far. Now then, what we're going to do now, we found out who's loudest. I believe it was either the Porsche or the Supra. We found out who's loudest. We're going to find out which one sounds best. And the way we're going to do this is with the loudest cheer, okay? So we'll have a listen to all of them, and then I'm going to go down and you're going to cheer for me as loud as you can. So where's Nate? You've got the... Good. Right, here we go. So we're going to hear all of them first. Starting with our flat 6 Porsche. Let me hear you. Next up, our Toyota V8. Our Toyota Supra. What do you do? Right. Enough. We need to actually hear them cheer. We can't hear you, okay? We'll get them all to rev up before we finish, don't you worry. Right then, ladies and gents, as loud as you possibly can for me. If you think the Porsche sounded best, cheer for me now. All right. Hang on, you. It's how loud the crowd is, not you. I'm looking at you as well. So, again for me, I couldn't hear you over the Porsche. If you thought the Porsche sounded best, cheer for me now. Alrighty. If you thought the Mustang sounded best, cheer for me now. Alright then. If you thought the Supra sounded best, cheer for me now. Alright. If you thought the B-Storm sounded best, cheer for me now. Alright, if you thought the Camaro sounded best, pack it in. Right, let's start again. If you thought the Camaro sounded best, cheer for me now. Alright. If you thought the Lamborghini sounded best, cheer for me now. Okay, and if you thought the Ferrari sounded best, cheer for me now. Okay, I think It is really between two. The Supra and the Camaro. Nate, come stand in the middle for me. I'm going to ask all drivers now to be nice and quiet. This is it, ladies and gents. The coveted Supercar Sound Off trophy is in your hands. If you thought the Camaro sounded best, cheer as loud as you possibly can now. Okay. And if you thought the Supra sounded best, cheer now. I don't think I even need to check that there. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I'll give you your Supercar Sound Off winner, the Supra. Come out and join me. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for our winner of Supercar Sound Off. Well done to you. Thank you. Now, you've competed in this previously with a full carbon fibre Nissan GTR.
Yeah, that's 2018.
Which you've now sold and bought this.
I love this one.
This is good. This is very good. Right, do you want to get your trophy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you deserve it. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for our Supercar Sound Off winner. And Charlotte bringing over our trophy and also a prize from Autoglib. Well done to you, sir. Let's get a shot of the trophy. There you go. Can you see that there? Look at that. There you are.
Thank you.
Well done to you, sir. Congratulations. And the flag drops, and away we go. Nice and on power there. Putting the brakes down. And he's stopped in the centre. Don't forget to cheer him on, ladies and gents. Next up, we have our Maserati. This one, our Gran Cabrio Sport, 4.7 litre V8 in this. Flag drops and away we go. Taking it nice and easy, just sussing out the track at the moment. Don't forget, ladies and gents, if they stop in the centre, one tier you choose. We're in the convertible. Now then, ladies and gents, who likes Lamborghinis? Because we've got a Huracan here, and not just any Huracan, this is a Performante, complete with a 5.2 litre V10 in it as well. 631 horsepower, here we go. Into second gear, he's hard on the brakes, you see the downforce working on there as well, but he didn't quite make that. Right then, next up, our Porsche. Let's have a look what the Porsches can do. They always do well, the Porsches. This a 911 GT3. I'm expecting some fantastic performance from this 4 litre flat six with 500 horsepower and just loads of traction. Let's see what it can do. That engine, flat six, mounted pretty much over the rear axle, gives it so much traction. Just look at the size of the brake discs in there as well. Here we go, launch control. Little spin of the wheels. First time I have seen a Porsche get a bit squirrely on our track, and I've seen these do this in the rain as well. Right then, we started with the McLaren, now we go for our next McLaren. This, of course, the 12C. This is what took the fight to Ferrari. Of course, Ferraris now are using turbocharged engines, but McLaren were there first with their 3.8 litre V8 twin turbo. Let's see what the 12C can do here. Hard on the brakes, such a fantastic design. I remember when that came out all the way back when. Quite an old car now, the 12C. The time really does hype, but that rear end on that was something else. It really did look fantastic. Engaging launch control there, just over 3 seconds for that to get to 60 miles an hour. So what we do now, ladies and gents, is we regroup them together at the bottom of our hill here, and then we bring them all back up again. So we're going to start with our first McLaren. Hopefully that one should be coming back up the hill for us first. Coming up for you later in this run, we should have a Morgan three-wheeler. I think that's the first time we've had the Morgan three-wheeler on the run. I do believe as well we will have the Rolls Rolls-Royce Wraith, the black badge edition. 6.6 litre V12 with 2 turbos, giving 624 horsepower. Even though that car weighs 2.4 tonnes, which is roughly the same as Palace House, it still does 0 to 60 in 4.4 seconds. So all of our marshals there, giving the green light, and away we go. So our McCallum there, flag has dropped, engaging launch control, so effortless. Of course, mid-engine this, the engine right in the centre of the car, 3.8 litre V8 with 2 turbos as well, for good measure. That initial dust, the initial dust there, starting to be worn away now off the track, so getting a bit more cleaner, bit more of a cleaner run through. We're not seeing so much dust being kicked up. Next up is our Maserati. Again, a V8. This one's slightly larger at 4.7 litres. And don't forget, ladies and gents, if they stop in the centre, I want you to cheer as loud as you can, especially the convertibles. Such a beautiful car, that. More of a Grand Tourer, I would say, but what a fantastic car for today with the roof down. Next up, our Lamborghini. Just listen to that V10 howl. That's it, ladies and gents, very good indeed. Over 600 horsepower in that, ladies and gents. If you get to have a closer look at that later on, please do, because the dimensions of it will surprise you. Actually not a very big car at all. Next up then, our Porsche. These always grip and go. Even in the rain, you will get fantastic traction out of the Porsches. A supercar you really can use every single day, and it'll put a smile on your face every single day as well. This car here, built for performance, this with its 4 litre flat 6 engine, 500 horsepower, 3.5 seconds to 60, and it will set you back more than £100,000. Coming up next then, our 12C McLaren. I can see our checkered flag is just holding there, so as soon as it drops, I'm sure we will hear that glorious 3.8 litre V8 sing its way up the hill. Gorgeous colour as well, one of the press car colours, that is. Keep your foot down in this and your speedo will be reading 204 miles an hour before it runs a puff. And that beautiful orange colour absolutely shining in the glorious weather they're having here, and both driver and passenger with a huge smile on their faces. Ladies and gents, can I please ask you to put your hands together for our first batch of cars and welcome our second batch, beginning with a Trevor. So this one has got the 4.2 litre V8, gorgeous Cerberus here. This one's got about 380 horsepower. The Cerberus actually fitted quite a few different engines too, including a straight 6 and 3 different V8s. Hard on the brakes. Now, it's worth reminding yourselves, ladies and gents, that a lot of the modern cars have modern technology such as ABS brakes, airbags and so forth, and traction control. Not in the TVR, but certainly in this. Now at Beaulieu we have our new Bond exhibition, but here we have a very special Aston Martin DB9 Bond. 5.9 litre V12, good for over 540 horsepower. Very much a Grand Tourer, that one with bespoke 20-inch wheels. Now then, this is a car you should all recognise. This is the M12 GTO. If there was ever a car built for track, this is it. So that has got a V6 3 litre, but also got 2 turbos, which you can hear whistling away there and boost away. 350 horsepower, not bad for an engine that first started out in the Mondeo. Now then, let's go from a V6 to a V-twin, the good old Moggy three-wheeler. This has got a 2-litre V-twin, so each of those cylinders, a litre in capacity, absolutely huge cylinders popping away at the front there. What a glorious thing that is. 6.2 seconds. You'll be going on for 120 miles an hour before it runs out of puff. You're a brave man if you do 120 in that. Now then, this is one of our Sporting Bears drivers. Now if you've not been down to see Sporting Bears, make sure you do. They're running a raffle and you could be in the passenger seat of one of their cars. Driver here, Phil, I think if you cut him in half, you would bleed Sporting Bears. Pop and crackle there from that 2.3 charged engine. Of course, that edition of the Focus RS did come with the famous drift mode. Right then, let's regroup them together and bring them back up the hill before we have our next batch of cars. I can already see these are coming out from behind the museum, and there is a really amazing car coming up for you at the start of the next batch. But first we need to bring this batch back up the hill. Camaro. Here, Camaro.
Oh, come on.
Right then, let's see if we can bring them all back together. So what we do, we group them together down at the bottom of the hill there, and then they get a second run up. Don't forget, if they stop in the centre of the crossroads there, I want you to cheer as loud as you possibly can. Feel free to boo them as well. If they don't stop in time, boo them. Give them some heckling. They can take it. We're going to end this batch on one of the Sporting Bears. I do believe we're going to start the next batch with one of the Sporting Bears. But first we have our TVR. Just remember, this doesn't have any driver aids whatsoever, not even ABS. She's still sounding glorious, absolutely sounding glorious. The interior of that car, something to behold, and the exterior as well. Did you notice there was no door handles on there? Anyway, let's move on to our DB9 Bond edition. 5.9 litre V12 in this. The DB9, by the way, amazing value right now. If you look at these in the used car market, they are absolutely amazing value. True GT car. That was the first of a new generation of Aston Martins that, of course, replaced the DB7. Who remembers the famous race between that and the train on Top Gear? Anyway, next up we have our M12 GTO. Another car without any driver aids. Hard on the brakes there. Getting a little bit squirrely there. I know the track's dry, but it's also a little bit dusty as well. V6 with 2 turbos strapped to it. Coming up next we have another V engine, but this one with only 2 cylinders. You can see it poking out the front of the Morgan three-wheeler. 2 litres in displacement, which means each of those cylinders is a litre big. That's absolutely huge, ladies and gents. Plenty of torque coming from that. What an absolutely glorious thing that is. If I had the space and the money, one of those would certainly be in my garage. Coming up next then, Focus RS, 2.3 litre, 4-wheel drive. Of course, this is one of our Sporting Bears cars, and I do believe we're going to start with another Sporting Bears car in a minute. Sporting Bears, if you want to be in the passenger seat of one of these cars today, make sure you head over there. A raffle, and you could indeed be in there and send in lovely on the overrun there. Ladies and gents, put your hands together for our second batch, and please welcome our third batch of cars, starting with this. The Chevrolet Camaro ZL1, or ZL1 if you're that way inclined. Gary the driver, been a member of Sporting Bears for a very long time. Previous car was a Holden with crazy horsepower. I've no doubt he'll be doing the same here with this. This car has 777 brake horsepower. Nicknamed Megatron, let's see what it can do. My lord, ladies and gents, be ready down there. That is proper chest-thumping power. That is absolutely amazing. 700 horsepower, ladies and gents. Amazing. Right then, let's see what a 5-litre Coyote engine can do here. This one with 860 horsepower. Just so much power in that, just spinning those rear wheels. He came on and off the power a few times there. Next up then, we started with the McLaren and we carry on with the McLarens here. The 570S Spider, 3.8 litre V8. All about efficiency, and if you look at the back end of that, you may see some elements of the McLaren P1 hypercar. Next up then, we have the Ferrari, not just any Ferrari, this is the 430 16M Scuderia. Built to celebrate Ferrari's 16th victory in the Formula 1 Constructors World Championship in 2008. I'll tell you what, he's braver than me lighting the wheels up like that. Just listen to the howl of that V8. Next up then, we have our Aston Martin DBS. Again, a 5.9 litre V12. More than 500 horsepower in this. This really pretty much was the swan song for the DB9. So you built revs, all of a sudden that exhaust kicks in and you can hear that wonderful howl of that V12. So this was the swan song really for the DB9. You can see elements of DB9 all over that, even though it's called the DBS. This was the car before the Vanquish joined the lineup in 2012. Kind of ironic, because it was the flagship Vanquish S replacement, that car. So let's regroup them, bring them all back together. I do believe we should have Megatron joining us first. This Camaro ZL1 with 777 horsepower. You guys down there, you haven't heard this car accelerate yet. You'll feel it in your chest. That's how loud this car is. Flag there, waving in the air. We can see our marshals giving the all clear. The flag drops and power away. Just listen to this. Ladies and gentlemen, I think you will all agree that round of applause. Please put your hands together for me for Megatron. That was awesome. Loved that. Absolutely loved it. Right then, who's coming up to join us next? Why, of course, it's an 860 brake horsepower Ford Mustang. That 5-litre Coyote V8 singing away there. Just notice some neat little colour changing lights in front of it as well. Fantastic. Going into there, pretty hot as well, braver than me. Right then, coming up next, we should have our McLaren. Moving away from the US of A now, we're going to come back to the UK with our McLaren. 570S Spider, still good for 562 horsepower. Look how efficient this car is. Nothing goes to waste, no pantomime, nothing at all just performance. You going over 200 miles an hour in that before it runs out of puff. Wouldn't like to do that with the roof down. Right then, next with the roof down, of course, it is the Scuderia 16M. Listen to the howl of that 4.3 litre V8. More than 500 horsepower, 3.7 seconds to 60. Of course, the 430 was a replacement for the 360, which had absolutely rave reviews when it first came out in the early 2000s. Of course, that was the car before the 458 as well. Our next batch of cars will be joining us in just a moment, but first we need to get our Aston Martin back up the hill. That V12, as soon as it hits about 3,000 RPM, the valves open in the exhaust so you get the full noise of it. And there you are, ladies and gents. Please put your hands together for our third batch and welcome our fourth batch. And we are going to start with another British mark here, our Lotus. So this in Motorsport Green is the Exige 430 Cup, a 3.5 litre V6 supercharged, 430 horsepower. Doesn't sound like much, but also this car doesn't weigh much either. Let's see what it can do. All of those 6 cylinders firing away. Autocar said the Cup 430 answers the compromises on road with staggering circuit performance, and judging by that performance, I have to agree. Now then, you won't hear much from the Taycan Turbo, however you will see much. Pay attention to the passengers in the back, as their necks are probably about to snap. That was absolutely ridiculous. It was there and then it was gone. That's not a car, it's a ghost. Here we go, look at it go. That's absolutely formidable. 2 motors front and back, 680 horsepower in that. Right, let's have a little bit more pantomime then, shall we? Here we are. This is the 458 Speciale, 605 horsepower from that 4.5 litre V8. To give you an idea of how quick this car is, it was just half a second off the lap time of the F12 Berlinetta around the Fiorano test track. Coming up next then we have our McLaren Longtail. Still got McLaren's 3.8 litre V8 in it, but now with 592 horsepower. Pretty sure that that was the third car in McLaren series to have the Longtail treatment. Right then, ladies and gents, this is a very interesting one. This is the Rolls-Royce Wraith Black Badge. They're not building these anymore, so you won't see them. It's got a 6.6 litre V12 with 2 turbos. That will do 0 to 60 in 4.4 seconds. Bearing in mind that car weighs 2.4 tonnes. 2.4 tonnes, ladies and gents. Also pay attention in, you'll see that the centre caps don't move. That Rolls-Royce, the RR, stays absolutely centre. It's got floating centre caps there. My, I'm just having a look at what's coming up. I'm just having a look here at what's coming up in the next batch. You are in for a treat. I dare say this is one of the best lineups we have had here at Supercar Weekend. Certainly a lot of variety, certainly some amazing cars here with us today. Don't forget, ladies and gents, that you can watch the demonstration runs again tonight if you want to. Just head over to youtube.com/OurTim or just search for Our Tim on YouTube. The video will be online tonight with all of the demonstration runs and also our sound off. So that video will be coming online for you later tonight. Just regrouping our cars then to bring them back up the hill. Coming up next, we've got I do believe, not one, but two Ford GTs. That's coming up next, but first let's have a look at what's coming back up the hill first, and we're starting with our Lotus. Let's hear this V6 sing. The 430 Cup then, very much a track orientated car. Autocar said any compromises with the circuit performance, which is absolutely staggering, to use their words, and I dare say they are absolutely right. I said that this is one of the best Lotuses of recent times, and that one of course in motorsport green with one-off wheels. Now then, the Taycan. Look at how fast this car comes up the hill. Ready? That's just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I dare say all the occupants of that car are going to go and see first aid for some painkillers. Coming up next then, our Ferrari. You saw the 16M earlier. This, the Speciale, was very much in the same series as that. 600 horsepower, 3 seconds to 60. Considered to be a very, very special car indeed. Every Ferrari is special, but the Speciale is one of the all-time greats. Next up then, our long-tail McLaren. Again, still uses that 3.8 litre V8 with 2 turbos, but now 592 horsepower. And of course, if you look at the back of that car, you'll see elements of the P1 hypercar. Coming up next then, we have our Rolls Royce. Bear in mind that this car weighs 2.4 tonnes, or to put it another way, half a Palace House. Just as luxurious as Palace House as well, and pay attention to the centres of the wheels here. That double R will stay absolutely still. How about that? Heard a little bit of a turbo whistle coming from that 6.6 litre V12. Ladies and gents, please put your hands together for that batch and welcome our next batch, and we begin with the Ford GT. This is not a GT40. It was slightly larger than the GT40. Very rare to see one of these in the UK. 5.4 litre supercharged as well. You can just see the supercharger through the glass on the rear. 550 horsepower, 3.5 seconds 60. You'll be going 205 miles an hour in that before it tops out 205. Beautiful, absolutely glorious thing that. Of course, the GT was built to celebrate Ford's centenary. If you actually look at one of the headlights, it does actually read 100. Next up then, we have our Vantage with a V12 engine. How on earth they squeezed the Vantage, the V12 into the Vantage S is beyond me. So you saw the DB, pretty much same engine in this, squeezed into a much smaller body. Now then, this is a GT40, albeit a replica. This got the 5.5 litre V8 with about 400 horsepower. This car, it's about 100 grand just in parts. That's even before you put those parts together, about 100 grand. That sounds great, it smells great, it looks great. Oh, that is my car of the show so far. Fantastic. Next up then, we have our Maserati joining us. Gran Turismo MC here, 4.7 litre V8. If ever there was a supercar to do a Grand Continental Tour, this is 454 horsepower in that. You'll be going 188 miles an hour before you top out. Next up then we have our Audi R8, and this one the V10 Plus. Remember when the R8 first came out, it had that V8 engine, then they managed to squeeze the V10 engine out of a Lamborghini in it. This is what you're about to see. 5.2 litres howling away down there, 610 horsepower, 3.3 seconds to 60. Now then, this is the Caterham GPE with a full-on 2 litre red top engine out of Vauxhall. This cost £35,000 when it was new, about 65 grand in today's money. Back in the day, back in the 90s, this was one of the fastest cars in the world. One of the test drivers for that car actually said the sweet spot to get it was about 4,500 RPM. At that point, dump the clutch and she will just sing her whole way along. I've driven plenty of red top cars in my past. The red top engine, a fantastic engine, co-developed by Cosworth. Right then, let's regroup them and bring them back up, shall we? A formidable amount of power, ladies and gents, absolutely superb. For the next demo run, I'm going to sit and work out just how much horsepower we're unleashing on our hill. I'll let you know, that's an interesting figure. Any bets for how much it is? I reckon it could be more than 10,000 horsepower, more than 20,000. Well, there's one way to find out. Get the old calculator out in a minute. Right then, let's start with our Ford GT, and if you look at the headlights on this car, you will see that it reads 100 because of course this car was built to celebrate Ford's centenary. $205 miles an hour will be going in that before it runs out of puff from that 1.4 litre Supercar V8. Tell you what, there's not many of those in the country. I think Ford said they were bringing in 50 or 100 of them. I'll have to double check and let you know, but there's certainly not many at all. Do you remember when Clarkson was trying to get hold of one? Coming up next then, our V12 Vantage. Just remember this has got the engine pretty much out of the DB9 and DBS, shoehorned into a much smaller package. Of course this car was really designed to have that V8 in it, which is why you can see all the extra cooling off the bonnet. Sounds glorious as well. Just trying to see what our next car is coming up the hill. It is of course our Maserati, that 4.7 litre V8 singing away. If ever there was a car to do a grand tour in, it's this. Beautiful colour on that as well. Right then, we've heard 8 cylinders, let's hear 10. Just hear this car sing. So much power in such a small package. Of course the engine in that mounted right in the middle of the car. You can see through the glass back. The full carbon fibre air intakes as well. And that should leave just 2, I believe. Got our Caterham GPE, 250 horsepower in this, but of course that car weighs less than 500 kilograms. So that's more than 500 brake horsepower per tonne. Do you remember the Rolls Royce that we had a couple of runs back? This is the polar opposite of it. One of the test drivers said the sweet spot in this was about 4,500 RPM. Build that lovely red top up to that and dump the clutch and away she goes. Back in the 90s, this was one of the fastest cars in the world. The 0-6 time was just 3.2 seconds. And that glorious Vauxhall red top engine firing away under the bonnet, co-developed with Cosworth. And now of course we come up to our final car coming back up the hill. This is our GT40 replica with a 5.5 litre V8 in it, about 400 horsepower, 3.2 seconds to 6. Just parts in this car, 100 grand, £100,000 in just parts. What does it say? It says don't mention that on the mic because my wife doesn't know. Whoops. It's fine, she didn't hear. Don't worry. She doesn't know that you spent 100 grand on parts on that car, it's fine. Now bizarrely, I've actually seen this car out on the road. He does use it out on the road and he gets plenty of stairs in it as well. Just look at that in the full Golf livery. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for all. Alrighty then, so we're going to start with a Porsche this time round. Our GTS should have two GTS's joined for this one with 3 litre flat 6 twin turbo. Good for about 480 horsepower, 3.4 seconds to 60. We'll put launch mode on by the looks of it. Here we go, launch mode engaged. A little bit spin on their rear wheels. You can see the electronics kicking in there to get you traction. Let's have a look at another. Look at the colour of this one here. Porsche's always very subtle cars, unless of course you paint them bright blue. A bit less subtle, but still wears its colour very well indeed. No one's just raw power putting all. Now, again, this is a car we have not seen on the demo run before now. So this is our Lotus, built back in 2000. This is actually a 340R. It's got the 1.8 litre Rover K series on it. Incredibly lightweight. It's very deep. That car weighs just 7 kilograms. So very car that doesn't weigh much salt. Is of course this, the 110S. So 1.8 litre, but this one with a turbo, 296 horsepower, 4.2 seconds to 60, 100 top speed. See what the Alpine can do. So plenty of traction there. Now then, let's step things up a little bit then, shall we, ladies and gents, with our Chevrolet Camaro. This one with a 6.8 litre V8 with 455 horsepower. This was the first UK spec Camaro in the UK. From the exhaust on that. Going from one yellow car to another. This, the 4C, the 0.7 litre inline 4 with a turbo, 237 horsepower in this, 4.5 seconds to 60. First came out 2013, engine out of the Giulietta. But 22 Giulietta, this just 895 kilograms. Not bad at all for a sub 50 grand car. Just like a true supercar. So that's our first batch sent down. We're now going to regroup them and bring them back up the hill. This group of cars, the entire set here, has the equivalent of 12,000 horsepower, ladies and gents. That's what we're unleashing on our main straight here at Beaulieu at the Beaulieu Supercar Weekend. Look at what's coming up next. Give you a little bit of a sneak preview. I can see there's an Aston Martin lead here. I do believe this is the full-fat DBS Super Leggera that will be joining us first, but of course we need to bring our cars back up the hill first. Starting with the first of our GTSs, let's see if this one is going to use launch control again. Flag waved, nose in the air, all the traction. The GTS badge is over. This is the 911. Believe it or not, this is a car north of 150,000 pounds.
That the last one, just went this way.
Just a very stealthy car, that. A little bit less subtle. Coming up next is our next GTS in this glorious turquoise paint. Okay, not using launch control, just using the right foot, which is what we like to see. Here we are then, on the brakes, and away we go. 3 litre flat sensor rear wheels gives it under traction. Really is a beautiful car, that. Coming on next then we have our Lotus R340R. This has got the 1.8 litre Rover K Series engine in, good for 190 horsepower, 4.4 to 60 for 700 kilograms this car. Give you an idea of 700 kilograms. The average man weighs probably around 70, 80 kilograms. That car weighs 7 or 8 men. Not much at all. Coming up next then we have our Alpine A10S. Also with a 1.8 litre inline four, but this one with 8 bow. And a full tank. Weight, of course, is the absolute killer of handling. Weight is the absolute killer of performance and handling. So the lighter the car, the better it is in both of those respects. Next up then, let's say there's no replacement for displacement. Let's see what the Camaro can do. 6.2 litre V8, 455. Lovely verbal on the overrun as well at the top of this. That should leave just one more down at the bottom of the hill to come up and join us, and it should be the Alfa Romeo 4C. This 1.7 litre engine, 4 cylinders, same engine that you can find in the Giulietta, albeit 22 kilograms lighter, 237 horsepower, 4.5. Burst of acceleration as she heads out. Ladies and gents, please put your hands together for our first batch and welcome our second batch. We are starting with the DBS Super. This is one of my all-time favourite cars. Absolutely awesome piece of this 5.2 litre twin turbo V12. 750 horsepower, 3.4 seconds 60.
Out the way, Ida.
Very much Supercar price tag of £225,000. Our next Aston then is this Vanquish S. Very stealthy indeed, but with some glorious yellow accents repeated inside the car as well. 6 litre naturally aspirated V12, 580 horsepower, 3.5. Ferraris, because you're going to love this. More than 750 horsepower, 0-60 in under 3 seconds. Really through the revs there to make that bar cool as it could. That's next up, keeping it with Italy, have a Maserati. Grand Cabrio here with 4.7, the 440 horsepower. Hard on the brakes, right in. This is a very special car indeed, ladies and gents. This is not an F-Type, this is a Project 7. Yes, it is based on the F-Type, but also your line cues from the Jaguar D-Type. 5-litre supercharged V8, 567 brake horsepower. Now I think we've had V8s and inline fours, but I don't think we've had a V10 yet. So step up to the R8 V10 plus here with 5.2 litre V10. Let's hear it held. Between the first and the second generations of the R8, they were a huge step forward. The V8 engine option went straight to V10, which of course, in the first version it was a V8, and then they shoehorned in the V10 out of a Lamborghini. Double power and speed from that 3.3 seconds to 60, 207 miles an hour. Now we've got something really unusual coming to join us next. Guarantee you won't have seen one of these outside of Beaulieu Supercar Weekend. Tell you more about that in just a moment, but first let's get our cars back up the hill, shall we? We start with our Aston Martin DBS. Amazing to see just how high the nose dives into the air, and then also just whistling away and then dumping the overdose. Working well. Coming up next, another Aston Martin here. You can hear the sound difference between these two. This V12 naturally aspirated. Lovely stuff indeed. Now then, let's hear our next V12, but this one of Italian origin. All clear from the marshals. We've got thumbs up at top hill and the flag dropped for our Ferrari V12. There we are, nice and warmed up now. Heard that hell all the way from the top of the hill, and nice and on the brakes. Here we are then. Oh, glorious. It's not Supercar Weekend without a Ferrari, in my opinion. And there, have it. Right then, coming up next for you. Just looking down the hill, seeing if we have got another one or two cars coming up to join us. And it is our 4.7 litre V8 Maserati. This was brewed down. Performance of these cars is absolutely incredible, so we do have to limit how far they go on the track just in case they do start losing control. Next up, the Project 7, £135,000 Jaguar that takes design cues from the D-Type. Five-litre supercharged V8, 500. It looks as fresh as the day it was built. Of course, built by Special Vehicle Operations down at Jack. Now we move from 8 cylinders to 10. Let's hear the V10 sing at the back of our Audi R8. absolutely hard on the brakes. You can hear it squealing to a stop. It's stopped himself. Very nicely done indeed. Very stealthy car indeed. Fancy seeing that from you now. Right then, ladies and gents, put your hands together for our lap and welcome our next match. Put your hands together for me. Now then, I guarantee you won't have seen one of these outside the Beaulieu Supercar Weekend. This is the SDR V-Storm. It's got a flat 4 Subaru engine with the 400 and brake horsepower. As you see, that's ended incredible. Let's see if we'll do it again for you guys down there. Just gone down the V-Storm, more of an Aston. Here we are, the Vanquish 6 litre V12 natural gas mid. Inject the exhaust pipes as it goes through the rev range and it valves in the exhaust that full hole. Next up then, our Ferrari F430. This 4.3 litre V8, we saw 16M earlier today, 490 horsepower. From that 195 mile an hour top. All team joining us. Absolutely glorious. Have a look at this. I thought we'd only got one Rolls Royce joining us, but it appears that we have our second Rolls Royce joining us now. I would love to see lots of the results. Just look, it's just effortless, isn't it? It's just glides. Absolutely glides. You wouldn't spill your gin and tonic in that, would you? It's fantastic. Right then, the Honda NSX, new sports car experimental. These are now really starting to climb in value. Very sought after car this. And hard on the brakes. Here we are then at V6, putting all power down in the... Now then, ladies and gents, I said that the Aston Martin is one of my all-time favourite cars. This is genuinely in my top 3. I actually ordered one of these for Ferrari when I was working in their press office about 10 years ago. It was the car that you saw Clarkson drive in Scotland. Sounds as good now as it did back then. The F12 Berlin just 3.1 seconds. You'll be going 212 miles an hour in that. Pay attention when it comes back up, you'll see the active aero down the side of that car. We're ending this batch on one V12 Ferrari. We're starting the next one on a V8 Ferrari. But first we need to bring all of our cars back up. Let's see then, we're going to bring them all back together so we can have a second run hill. They do generally run quicker down the hill than they do up, but they also get their eye in on that first run, so they're usually a bit more excitable coming back up. Of course, we're starting with this V-Storm with a 470 horsepower Subaru engine. Oh, plenty of absolutely great. Ladies, but please guys, you can put your hands together for this car. He's absolutely fantastic. off in about half an hour's time. The sound off will take place in the arena. Please do come down and join us for that. But first, let's get out the hill. Let's see how our gentleman can do. Naturally aspirated at V12. Listen to it now. Forced induction of turbochargers and superchargers can somewhat dim down the noise of an engine, and naturally aspirated sucking in all of that air naturally those exhaust pipes doesn't half sound fantastic. Right then, next we should have our F30. Hard on the brakes, coming to a stop, bang in the center. Evolution of the 360 on which it was based. 4.3 litre V8 in the back of that. Next up then, we have almost Royce. Drop head as well. There she is. Look at the elegance of this car. That's the only way to describe this car, is elegance. I imagine driving this car is like pouring double cream down a silk. I imagine it is just butter smooth. And a big hole on the face as well, sir. Absolutely. On you go, sir. On you go, sir. Cool. Winter gin and tonic. Right, coming up next. This should be our Honda NSX. 3.2 litre V6, 276 horsepower, 0 to 60 in 5.9 seconds. But Gordon Murray, the designer of the McLaren F1 Supercar, we've got a few of those here with us this weekend, stated that he used the NSX as the inspiration for the F1. After test driving high-performance cars, he found that the NSX chassis performed the best. Even taking the boots for a ride, why not in here? I'm not sure what the dog would have made of that. But still, right then, let's move from 6 to 12 cylinders, shall we? And our F12 Berlinetta should be next. I remember when the car was delivered, we took it out on a test drive and I think 20 seconds. Absolutely formidable performance out of this. You can see the active aero down the side of it, taking the air from the front of the car, channeling it down the side. Ladies and gents, put your hands together. Last match, and we welcome our next match of cars. Moved from a 12-cylinder Ferrari to an 8-cylinder Ferrari. This 458 Spider, 4.5 litre V8 with 562 brake horsepower, of course, in the rear. And you may reckon the roof mechanism between this and RC are incredibly similar. Step forward over the centre. Put your hands together for me. What the US has got to bring for us. This is a 5 litre Coyote V8. You can see the rear wheels are spinning even as he's just holding up the rim. I like the sound of that a lot, that 5 litre. So the man driving this Lamborghini I know very well, and he turned up today. He actually works at Ferrari, so why he's in a Lamborghini, I don't know. He's stolen the keys. Right, let's have a look on the Lamborghini. Right then, we go from a brute to... proves that you don't need all the power in the world for fun. This is the Lotus Elise 11R. 1.8 litre Toyota engine. Lotus actually did 500,000 miles developing this car. And quickly this car gains speed and shrugs it off. Here we go then, he's going to engage launch and away he goes down there. Next up then. We have yet another Mustang joining us, and I do believe that this one has been fettled, somewhat tuned. So let's see how I think we get there. That sounds formidable, and he hit it right in the centre. On the right, get a little power down. Nicely able to go in a straight line as well. I have a tendency not to. Right then, let's bring them back up, shall we? So you get another good look at all of them. For you next then, ladies and gents, in the main arena in 30 minutes time is our Supercar Sound Off. For this, I need your help. Not only are we going to measure how loud these cars are, of course we want to see just how loud they are indeed, but also we're going to find out which one sounds best, and that, ladies and gents, all comes down to you. Whoever gets the loudest cheer this afternoon will win our coveted Supercar Sound Off trophy, and we'll also win a prize from Autoglim as well. And if you've not been down to Autoglim, you should make your way there pretty quickly, because they've not only got trade products, they've also got special prices. You won't get Autoglim products anywhere cheaper in the UK today. Anyway, enough of that, let's have a look at the 458, 4.5 litre big 8. Ferrari. And hard on the brakes there, absolutely fantastic performance there. Next on the list of our two Mustangs. Let's see what our driver's going to do. I do believe they're being a bit cautious with their tyres today. No doubt they will line them up tomorrow. They always like to burn a bit of rubber, these guys. We love to see it as well. Let's see what he's going to do here. He's come to a stop, which I think means an engaging line lock. I don't want to do it. As well there. Next up we have our V12 Lamborghini. You've heard it time and time again, but they really do not make cars like this anymore. Certainly won't much longer anyway. Colossal engine sat right behind the driver there. Huge V12 engine in the back of it. And sounded glorious as well. Beautiful car to see that. Great number on it as well. Right then, what's coming up next for us? It is of course our 111R Lotus Elise. This one's got a 0.8 litre Toyota engine in it. Lotus, given how big they are and how many of these cars are made, did an awful amount of development work on this car. Part of their entry in the American market. Did 500,000 miles in this. And saving weight is one of the best things you can do in a car. Look how quickly it's going to lose his speed. I dare say that would be one of the best cars out of any today. Next up then we have our second Mustang coming up the hill. Coming to a fantastic stop there in the centre. Now he's and there we are, we kept counted them out and counted them back in again. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the second demonstration. Please put your hands together for our third and final run of the day. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we get a little bit. We're going to start with our Ferrari F430. Beautiful car this is indeed. And we are going to start with a 4.3 litre V8. 490 horsepower, about 4 seconds to 60, and you'll be going about 195 miles an hour before the pump. There it is, it's sticking in, those valves open, beautiful V8 sink, and it revs so quickly that. Ferrari's arch rival, McCallum. And not just in McLaren, this is a 6.7 with LT Spider MSO, a very special car indeed. In the shade there, it looked absolutely black, and as soon as you get into the light, you start seeing that beautiful red formation. Now then, unbelievably, these are coming up to 10 years old, but they don't look any older than a day. BMW i8. Remember when they first showed that car as a prototype and how close the Roco version of it was. Interesting car, the i8. It's got a 1.5 litre 3-cylinder turbo with a motor in the front axle. Next up then is our Turbo S Porsche. This is our very latest generation 3.8 litre flat 6 twin turbo, 640 seconds to 60. Next up then we go to Lotus, the Nissan Exige 430 Cup. We saw one of these earlier today, this one with the 3.5 V6 supercharged engine. I believe that this one's faster apparently because it's black rather than grey. It's me anyway. Also, I said that the Cup 430 answers its compromises on the road with staggering circuit. And I have to say, I completely agree. If ever there was a car built, it's that. Now, coming back up, we will bring them all back up the track for you now. The one that I'm really looking forward to is seeing that beautiful Porsche, the 911 Turbo. So the Porsche that you're going to see come back up in just a few minutes, ladies and gents, 641 horsepower, 2.7 seconds to 60, 205 miles an hour, price tag of £150,000. But first, let's have a look at our Ferrari. Just listen to how quickly that thing revs. The brakes, absolutely nailing it. This is what we like to see. The circuit now nice and dry, nice and clean as well. Changing up through the gears, getting the power down as well. Of course, the 430 was an evolution of 360, which replaced was the Forerunner 258, which you would have seen earlier today. Coming up next then is our 675 Longtail. Not only a 675 Longtail, but also a Spider MS as well. This one with a 3.8 litre V8. 2.8 seconds to 60, and just look at the colour of it. Looks black in the shade and then in the sun. You see that beautiful red. Now then, the i8 has a total of 369 horsepower, 129 of which comes from electric. comes from an electric motor mounted in the front axle. The rest comes from a 3-cylinder turbocharged engine. 4.1 seconds to 60. Probably one of the closest cars that we've seen go from prototype to production. Now then, like, have a look at the Porsche. Look how quickly this thing hooks up. Look at the traction on it. This is the very latest 911 turbo in a long line that stretches many, many years. Just total crap. Other cars like to make a bit of a show and a dance and so forth. Of course, the 911 just uses all of its power, and quite rightly so, considering the price tag is north of £150,000. Next up then, our Lotus. This one, 430 Cup, a 3.5 litre V6 with a supercharger. Ladies and gentlemen, can I ask you please to hands together for our first batch? And coming up next, please welcome our second batch of cars. So then we start with our Cayman S. This one a 3.4 litre flat 6 aspirated 320 horsepower. This is one of the best driver's cars, I can tell you from experience, ladies and gents. I've driven this back to back with the F-Type and the 911. And in terms of performance, very difficult to beat indeed. Next then, our 5 litre 4.3 seconds to 60. Lovely burble from that. Now we're going to go from 8 cylinders to 10. Any fans of Lamborghini? You're in for a treat here. That's what we like to see. I'm not going to get that from the Lamborghini, but we're certainly going to get some noise from this car. 5.2 litre V10 sat right in the back of it. You can see the engine through the glass rear cover there. Sat right behind the driver and passenger. Controlling that, still spin wheels all the way down, and yes, need your hands together. Fantastic. It's not just fully flat in it. Of course, mounted over those rear wheels, giving plenty of traction. 513 horsepower, 3.2 seconds to 60, 194 miles an hour at the top end. Proper track weapon, indeed, and oh my God. This is the best Superleggera. You are this 5.2 litre turbo V12. Back a little bit there, of course, plenty of power coming from that compressor engine there. 715 horsepower in that car, ladies and gents. 715. Just looking up over my shoulder, for joining us. Microphone just dropping out a little bit there. Looking over my shoulder, I can see we've got some really tasty stuff coming up to join us, including the Aerial Atom. which, much like its name suggests, is about as light as one and reacts just as quickly. Right then, let's look down and we start with our Cayman S. 3.4 litre flat six. Very, very tight, very, very small car. Very well balanced, even though the engine is over the rear axle. A very good colour scheme in there as well, white with a beautiful red interior. Right, go from 6-cylinder 8, and let's have a look. Yep, Mustang. Engage line lock on the way down, see if you can do it on the way back up. Go on then, gents, give him a cheer, give him a clap, let's get him going. Come on, stop teasing them. What do you want to do? Give us a burnout, you know you want to. Those tyres are not cheap at all. Maybe the electronics kicked in a little bit there, just put a little bit of stops and bubble which smells good. Right then, let's see what we've got coming up next for you. It is of course our V10 engined Lamborghini. That nose pointing towards the sky as that V10 kicks in. Hard on the brakes, the nose literally sniffing the ground. What a fantastic, and of course, the evolution version of that. Going up then for you, our second to final car. We've got another batch coming for you after this, and another one after that as well. I do believe this is our G53 RS. 4 litre, flat 6, over 500 horsepower. No messing around whatsoever, just all the power going through those rear wheels straight into the tarmac. Dare say you'll have rippled the tarmac if he hasn't. This next one will. It's our Aston Martin DBS with our 5.2 litre twin turbo V12. Away, 2 turbos working away, forcing the air and fuel into it is a staggeringly beautiful car, the DBS. As it we're checking making sure we haven't got a look to yes, I do believe the Aston was the last one down. Right then, ladies and gents, can you put your hands together for our next batch of cars, and we'll start with this, the Aerial Atom. Does indeed look like something that you might find on a builder's site, but it'll be a darn sight faster than anything you might find there. The Atom then got a 2 litre turbocharged engine, 320 horsepower, 0 to 60 just 0.8. Weighing at 595 kilograms. Now to pay attention, you may be able to see the driver's feet working away here. Next up then, you do know I love a Ferrari. I'm sorry, I'm a bit of a fan of them, and of course now we have our 430 joining us here. On the Scuderia. Kick it in. Let that car howl. Now then, this is all. Let's give it up for our Ginetta. Ladies and gents, you are going to love this car, I absolutely promise you. Our driver's not afraid to give it noise. Let's hear a V8 sing. There was only 98 of these built, and it is not 98. Look at that, ladies and gents, quick hands. Such a crowd pleaser. Coming up then next, we have Trevor here with us. Next one with a 5-litre V8, they're about 300 horsepower with for 160 miles an hour. Such a noise. Oh, that's, and then if one video wasn't enough, we've got another one for you. A 4-litre one in a straight 6 configuration, 3.9 seconds to 60. TVR pretty much no drop rate whatsoever, no ABS, anything like that. Really is all down to driver. Looking over my shoulder, I can see that we've got another batch of cars coming along here for you, but first we need to bring our cars back up the hill. So I'm going to bring them now back up, so you get 2 views of these cars, and they will come to a stop in the centre, re-engage that launch control to get the power down, and we start the aerial atom. I've been talking about weight day long, ladies and gents, and this car is the perfect example of it. Just 595 kilograms, means you get about 500 brake horsepower. Changing up through the gears nice and quick. Well, huge smile on the face, quite rightly so. Actually, been down for a few years ago. It was a Nomad that I was in, and it was ferocious how quickly that car accelerated. Next up then, our 430 Scuderia. Listen to how quickly that V8 revs up. Better way to finish a Saturday than hearing a Ferrari V8 sing. How about a Rover V8 though? Let's hear what the Ginetta can do. It's the very last one of this build, and our driver is not scared to use and abuse it. Absolutely superb. That's what Supercar is all about, bringing a huge smile to everyone's face to do. Next then, move on to our TVRs. Keeping with the V8 engine, this one a 5-litre V8, 300 horsepower for about 160 miles an hour, and quite And then we bring up our final TVR then, our Tuscan here. Should have the 4-litre straight 6 in this. Let's hear it howl. Straight 6s really do love to rev. And a huge smile on the face, and quite rightly so. Stunning looking car, like you wouldn't believe that came out in year 2000. 22 years old. Right then, let's get your hands together for me and welcome our next batch of cars. Here then we have the Honda NSX, and not the Honda NSX, this is the very late one. Let's see what it can do. Launch control engaged, point the power down, off she goes. As it got into second gear, wasn't expecting to see that. Now then, this is the Aston Martin Vantage, and not just any Vantage, this is the F1 edition, 4-litre V8 twin turbo. This is the first new car under the new boss at Aston Martin. It was tweaked, it's sharper, and doesn't it look wonderful? But don't let that lack put you off, ladies and gents, because right now, I do believe that this is a sporting bet. Oh. Very quick on the 845, wasn't expecting to see that, was you, ladies and gents? When you think of Mercedes and you think fast Mercedes cars, you don't usually think of a hatchback, but there it is, like a very quick car indeed. Next up then is our 360.
So which one to get to? The one I'm off?
Just like the 430, loves to rev. This car was the predecessor to that. 3.6 litre V8, 400 horsepower. Hard on the brakes and using the end. Oh, a lovely little rev as well. So we're going to and where that one was a 3.6 to V8, this is the full 6.2 litres, 405 brake horsepower. For displacement. 55 horsepower, 4.5 seconds. See, we're going 190 miles an hour before that car runs out of puff. Looking over my shoulder, I can see that we've got coming to join us, and in this next batch of cars is a full-fat V12 Lamborghini. You can hear the thunder rolling along the hill there. So we're bringing them up, going to bring them up for you now. I do believe we are starting with the very latest iteration of the NSX. So I know for NSX, of course the original developed or helped developed by very interesting time we're living in at the moment. Adapting and changing, doing rule changes with regard to forced induction, electrification. Honda NSX is the perfect example of that. Now then, we have our F1 Edition Vantage. This is the new, and I say new in inverted commas, Vantage before this.
Yeah, right up there.
It's sharper, it's quicker and more focused than the previous V8 Vantage on which it is east. Now then, blink, because you're going to may look like a hot hatch, and it is indeed a hatchback, and it is very hot indeed. Let's see how quickly it can make up the hill then. Right then, here we go. Launch control engage, and four-wheel drive, of course, getting all of the performance out of that engine. Very quick car indeed. The one that you use every single day if you so wish. Next up then, I do believe it's our 360 Ferrari. 3.6 litre V8, 400 horsepower, 4.3 seconds to 60, good. 87 miles. And these are now starting to get in value as well. Was for a couple of years almost an entry point into Ferrari ownership. Now started to climb the value quite rightly so. Now we've gone from 3.6 litres hit to 0.2 litres, still a V8, but this time the engine's in the front rather than in the middle. coming to a stop. Quite a heavy car. In the front seat, near those rear wheels, scrabbling for grip all the way through first and second gear. Very nicely done indeed. Now looking down and just making sure we've got no more cars to come down and join us. No, that's it. So, ladies and gentlemen, can I ask you please to put your hands together and welcome our back. Now then, this is the Ford Mustang RT5. It's the only one in the UK, and this one used to be owned by a drift champion. Owners do love to wag their tail. Aventador 6.5 litre V12, nearly 700 horsepower in this. 3.2 seconds. Miles an hour, this territory. Hard on the brakes, down changing as well. So this is not just any form. As you can hear, there is a bit of a whistle coming from this. It's got It's got 900 horsepower. Left turn, gents. Put your hands together for me. Oh, what's he going to do here? He's got 900 horsepower. Right then, R8 V10 Plus, 5.2 V10, 610 horsepower. Up a mid jumping Honda NSX, sort of to the centre. Built by Honda, tuned by a legend. Absolutely right. You saw the latest NSX. It was an early one. Our driver there making full use of sit. Absolutely glorious. Right then, let's back them up and bring them back up there, ladies and gents. I don't know about you, but the car I'm most looking forward to seeing, that 900 horsepower Mustang. Maybe the Aventador that I can't choose. I cannot choose. There's just too many good cars here today. Now, ladies and gentlemen, just while we regroup our cars back together, could I ask help, please? Can I ask you to help me say thank you to everybody here at Beaulieu for organising the Beaulieu Supercar Weekend, all of our volunteers, our marshals. Can you please all put your hands together and say a big Beaulieu thank you to everyone here who helped organise the show. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. It's very, very kind of you. I know they also appreciate that. Right, let's have our RTR Mustang is going to come up first. This used to be owned by a world drift champion. This is the only RTR in the country, ladies and gents, and here it is on our track. Second gear, still lights up those red tails. A huge smile as well, absolutely right. No, you can't have another go. Go on, get back to the parking area. You've got another car coming up behind you. We've got a Lamborghini joining us now, 6.5 litre V12 in this. Just of the size of the engine in this car, and think how close it is to a driver and passenger. Huge amount of power. Nose there on the ground, sniffing away. Sniffing the ground on the sprint. Huge smile. Driver passing quite rightly indeed as well. Right then, next coming up to the top of the hill, I'm looking down the straight. Is this a 900 horsepower Mustang? I believe it is. Cover your ears. So a 5-link 8 is usually good enough for most people. Hear those turbos whistling through the exhaust. So then now we have our V10 Audi. If you close your eyes, you might think it's a bikini. That's because it does share quite a few parts. And I do believe that our final car coming up the hill today at day one Beaulieu Supercar Weekend is our Honda NSX. The NSX was the car that showed Supercar manufacturers Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. I do hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, underneath this video you'll find a thumbs up, and right next to it you'll find a subscribe button. Hit that and you'll get a new video from me every week. Coming up next are the highlights from the Beaulieu Supercar Weekend Day 2. That's coming up for you tomorrow night. Once again, thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you again soon.